Space. That place where at least in the imagination we can rest from the endless cruelty of the real world. How did we get here? Why I'm talking about animate penguins when everything outside seems to be on the verge of collapse? Well, let's start from the beginning. Club Penguin. That game where the afternoon turned into adventure, where you and your friends got it on some of the servers, Blizzard the best, to have fun with games like card jits, sled racers, or many more. That game where the only thing that mattered was the fun, isn't it? I got into the game thanks to a friend for school and the mail that my cousin Tatiana helped me create. Thanks, cousin. That same email opened the door to Facebook, YouTube, and the most important thing, my Club Penguin account. Club Penguin was created by the Kennedy Studio Disney Canada Inc. It was released on October 24, 2005, and it had Boom arriving in 2007, which it was exactly the year I could try into my potato PC. You don't know how much fun it was to connect by Skype with your friends and join the amazing game Club Penguin. I know, there is Discord and variation, but back then, connecting that way felt so futuristic, and even more so when you gathered several friends in a single session. And that time, games like Habbo, Dragon City, or Club Penguin were the world of fun for those who could not spend on the last generation games like Crisis, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, or Halo. Thanks to the internet and its popularization, players from all over the world have joined in incredible campaigns, from games like RuneScape, Habbo, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, etc. Many of these games feature quite mature and complex themes: wars, blood, indecent trade, or things that no child could get into at first. But that's when Club Penguin came with the idea to bring you the same experience of fun and companionship, but of course without the horrible or flashy face of the other one, giving birth to the game that any child wants to play all the times, and that is Club Penguin. While other games focus on collecting items, accomplish objectives, shooting, or simply destroying every living thing, in Club Penguin you could do whatever you want. Want to go to the mountain? Do it! You want to go to the dance floor and beat your previous record? Go ahead, my king. Or I don't know, maybe you want to work for the newspaper? Ha! Surprise! It was a secret agency where only the most amazing people could get in. This kind of details made this work, despite its visual simplicity, give you some of the funniest moments either alone or with friends. It made you feel you were a part of it. Like I've chosen many times that a game that is well made will attract the public no matter what genre it is. It happened with Mario, Pokemon, Hello Company Bob, or the wonderful Baldur's Gate 3, the epic adventure where you can become anything that you want except straight, or Club Penguin. This being a game for those kids who didn't want the material for Habbo, or could not afford the price of WoW. Just a simple penguin game that could do everything and more to have fun. I'm a fan of that game, because it not only started a fascination with massively multiplayer game, it also showed me that despite not being able to communicate properly in real life, in that world all people like for one thing, to have fun. Compared to Habbo, it's what like going to a nightclub nowadays. Spacious place full of people of all kinds, combining with very high prices and a lot of bad vibes. This game was the refuge that helped you forget everything with those beautiful special events that were released from no time to time. Events like the Billion Herbert, the Secret Agents, the Magic Pulver of all color, and the evolution of card jitsu made this world almost endless. As I remember it, it was a world in which there was not much to pay for. You have no taxes, food was not necessary, but there was something you always want to possess with all of your soul: the beautiful and sweet fish coins. These shiny and beautiful pieces open out so many possibilities in the game. With them, you could buy clothes, puffles, decorate your club, or shop for the latest the event could offer. That is, if the earning of coin depend entirely on multiple minigames such as Pixatron 3000. In this game, you work as a graphic designer making almost automated pizzas. Smoothie Smash, where using your feet and your butt, you mash the fruit into a tasty smoothie. Yummy! Dance Contest, where you take off your forbidden step and depending on your performance, you can earn more or less coins. Adventures in Jetpack. You have to use a jetpack through all the Penguin Island. In your journey, you can find all of kind of obstacles. If you hit one of them, will reduce your fuel level, and when you reach 0, your penguin fall to the doom. Now loud, this will activate your parachute and end the game. Or no. Although, it's necessary to clarify something. If you play for a few hours, you could see something really funny. unimportant, almost imperceptible. The division of classes and how having a membership could change everything you know about that world. Club Penguin only mark a path full of happiness for children. It also leads us to see a life like a simple joke. From people working in places that do not feel at all, and who do it for the motivation to pay a debt or buy an object they want, or others who have the membership, being members with car and luxuries that allow them to exploit those who don't have it. Those so Nintendo, being a member in this game was the master key to all the content the game could possess. It was not just a simple change of costume or some other effect. No sir, it was literally becoming one of the elites of the Club Penguin world. You possess more resources, both in your igloo, exclusive pets, more complex clothing, or to perform all the activities that only people with better monetary scope could possess. That division was something that me and my friends were trying to reach tooth and nail, from reaching for videos on the internet on how to become a partner, looking for codes that would allow us to even scratch the surface of such a long way for war. It's a bit paranoid or weird to compare Club Penguin with the present, but let me ask you something. Have you seen how everyday people say their jobs as a hydrants, where they only do it is to earn a few pennies and live day by day? No? Maybe you have seen people with a love of wealth, where the social network and life seems to be made of illusion and fantasies that only the simplest people could imagine. This makes me think, why are video games becoming so much like reality? They should be totally different realities, no? Why should we have to work 24/7 for a few coins and invest them in some luxury invented by some innovation company? When we think of video games, the first thing that comes to mind is an escape, a world different from our own, one that gives us joy, motivation, a respite for everything that happens in everyday life. But something that we find is just the opposite, another reflection of the same inequality experience every day. Instead of fun, you come across a kind of mindless competition to see who spends the most on a fantasy, and not just because one has more to spend than the others. I don't know. It's hard to see how meritocracy continues to be so celebrated, as if we're one of the greatest virtues of human beings. And in the end, one release that the meritocracy people talk so much about has never existed. Because if from the beginning you already have the advantage that your parents can pay you whatever you want or invest in whatever you want without worrying about the consequence, then where is the merit? That's when you realize that video games and reality are not so separate as we thought. All of that stuff we want to leave behind when playing in virtuality and in reality never went away. I see architects working as waiters, designers without projects, brilliant creative people trapped in a cycle of frustration with no return, and all for a false promise of meritocracy that never came. And that's when I want to introduce you to a new term, the Club Penguin job. And what is the Club Penguin job? Jobs done, yes, if they can fill your pocket for the minimum, but they will never reach you for the one you long for the most, those luxury of those who don't have the support. Name me whatever you want, leverage, support, contacts. You always have some way of telling us that our effort is ephemeral. The informality and precariousness of employment that young people face today have provoked feelings of frustration and even stress. It's hard to believe that the career we chose with so much passion and dedication, to which give years of study, time, and resources, today seems to have no space in the labor market. Many of us end up feeling that we're just one more in a market saturated with low payment and exploitative jobs, where everything seems to be worthless. It seems that, in the end, the only thing that matters is money. Is that the only meaning of life? An empty world ruled by a fish-shaped currency? The funny thing is that, when we were kids, we watched these games with love and happiness. Never imagined that one day, that video game will look so much like reality. Today, those kind of jobs have become so commonplace, environment that seems to be straight out of a nightmare, where the base are pittance and the people are treated as they were worthless, as if we were no human beings. Oh, loot worker, for your effort, here's 100 penguin coins for you, to buy a suit. Oh, thank you boss, how much does a suit cost? Let me see, it can't be. Honestly, the socioeconomic issues of how things are run are quite complex to me, but at least I have the ability to make comparison between various aspects of the world. Today, we move aimlessly between the world of Club Penguin and reality, where for full price jobs we could risk our mental and physical integrity. We do everything, from health, customer service, construction, recreation, etc. For what? To earn a pittance and feel like the world generation? Nah. Although, I now see a Club Penguin as a bit abusive and predatory game. at least have the decency to let you try the game or most of it without having to pay $1. Unlike the Roblox game, that's always the special content is based on spending with your own currency, then you can clearly earn using the My credit card of your parents. I don't know if you remember Ready Player One, that movie that came out in 2018. Well, in this one, they show us that the world is on the point of collapse. People live with the help of the food tickets and housing that the government gives them for the day-to-day. And young people, having nothing to hold on, are grappling in the digital world where all the fantasies and power comes through. It sounds familiar, is not so? But well, you have to think. Today jobs are disgusting, demanding and complex. Is it because of the atmosphere among peers, or because customers think of using everyone as a mob? But are we really that attached to the job? We are people afraid of what will happen, or what will I leave if I leave, instead of thinking how relieved we will be to find another position that can give you more value as an individual and not just by a simple stain or resume full of pain and broken dreams. That kind of wear and tear that is created by those empty jobs that if it were a minigame of a few minutes would be pleasant. When we just spend hours and hours in an infinite loop of pain and suffering, and when you leave, that day you just feel that everything about you collapse. Work, consume, and have debts, an infinite loop of frivolity. But Latte, what can we do to improve this situation? What could we try, so that we don't feel like we live in a working version of Club Penguin? The answer may sound simple. Diversify all knowledge and areas of work. Having different ways of dealing with the same area of work helps a lot so the mind does not collapse in the face of uncontrollable outflows of the world of work. If, for example, you're a cashier, try moving to another area, cleaning, administration, warehouse, whatever. The simple fact of learning something new, something a little more challenging, can bring a little hope. Because even if we want to, we can stop working. Work is one of the pillars of this society, something inevitable, and although it is often difficult, it can still be valuable in certain ways. Enjoy what you do, put your heart into it, but never allow anyone to belittle you. Not a customer, not a boss, not a college. The respect you offer is the same respect you deserve to receive. Each of you has a unique brilliance, a special way of doing things. So take a deep breath, be patient, and trust your process. All change begins with the small steps. Raise your eyes. The world doesn't end at work. Take off to new horizons, and step by step you can be able to handle anything. Thank you very much for watching this video. I know that this video is a little gloomy and pessimist, but I want to show a little point of what is happening today, and let's give you awareness that they are not alone in this sea full of injustice. If you like this video, please, I will appreciate if you share it, and I don't know, I really like to reach soon the 150 subscribers, would be fantastic. If nothing else to say, your employee friend Cosmic Latte says bye bye.